Please wait for 1 or 2 minutes, then overall joining, then we can start. Okay, so today is day two of our full stack .NET course, and in the last class we will we will cover how we can make a simple CRUD operation in .NET Core and basic step we can follow to any .NET projects. So that we already covered, and I think we are here in the controller. So this is the last here. So firstly we will make here get all method to get all the list of user. For example, if we have a 100 or 2 list we are added here to getting the all the list, and its URL will be like that way: get API. This is get from here API controller. Our controller name will be a user, so its a URL will be API backslash student backslash get all. And here we can use the http get. We are using http get when we are getting any data from the database. So here what we can do, fetch all student from database, and it will return 200. Its status code will be 200 here, so it will return 200. Okay, with student list. So this is for the get all API. Next we can make getY ID. So again getY ID. So we are again we are getting data from the database, and this time again we are using this method HTTP get. But that time we can pass the ID because we are getting that record with the help of ID. So we can write here ID and backslash getY ID. We are using this I action result means it's provide us return type. What return type you are? For example, it will provide a status code like 200. When you can return the result 400, that time it will not found in the database. So these all the status code will be provided by this I action result. So here we can firstly we can find that record with the help of ID because we already have a ID. We can pass this ID from the Swagger UI, and here we can get that ID. So firstly we can find that user with the help of ID. ID. Okay, if potentially if you have any question you can just message here regarding anything. If you have any question, so you can simply message here. I will try to reply. Like if you are not understand anything. Okay. Okay. Okay, so every day's class timing will be same 7 to 8, like included a weekend also, such as Sunday also. Your class will be 7 to 8, and if any day there not a class, I will updated you in the like post from the YouTube same here, so you can see here. But I will try to continue this every day, like also in the weekend. Okay, so here, what's the question? Okay. So here we are finding that record with the help of ID. So how we can do variable user is equal to, we have a two option. One is the use first or default async, that is a find. So these all are provided by this package that we can install anti framework core. So it automatically convert all our C# code to a raw SQL query when it goes here in the SQL server. So it's your choice what you want to use. For now, we are using here context dot users. This is our entry table that we can make in the application DB context. If you can go here, so this is the table because this is the actual name that we can give in the database. That's why we are choosing the application DB context dot users dot find, and simply we can find pass this ID. So for now, we are not using any async and await. In the next project that we can make, there we will try to use async and await. And why we use async and await, that is also important question. So we can find that record with the help of ID. And if that user will be null, that time we can return 404 or not found. Its a status code will be a 404. So if user is equal to null, that time you can return not found. These all the status code that will be provided by this interface I action result. And next one is, if we can get that record, then return okay. So here what will be the status code 404. And if we get that record, that time we can simply return okay and user. And here we can get record status code. These are the status code. It's also important question, what are the status code in the .NET Core? So these are the status code and HTTP get method. These are also important question. So I will try to make one WhatsApp group where I can send you these all the notes. So these all the topics we are already cover. Important question. Eighth important question is, what is the HTTP methods and what are the status code? So you also try to cover these question. Status code. Okay, and it's a URL same like that way. Its URL will be like that way. Here again we are using a get method and its URL will be like that way. Here we are passing, for example, ID1 record we are getting and get by ID. So like that way its URL will be created. Next one, we can see how we can add a new user in the database. So adding a new user, we are using HTTP method post. So here we will write HTTP post, and here we can give the name add, and its a URL will be like that way, post and API backslash user. Sorry, this your name is a user, controller name will be a user. So here everywhere user, not this is the controller name. You can see here this is the route API controller. So here you need to give this controller name, that is a user. So everywhere here, not a student, user, user. Okay. So here like that way our URL will be created. Next one is we can write public I action result create, or you can give anything name you want to give here. So here we can pass our model. So what is our model? Our table name is a user. So user space user, because here we can add all the field that we can write inside the user table. This is our user table name. So here giving error, we need to import the namespace. So this is also important question, why we use a using keyword. So this is also Sisha important question. So using keyword is used to import the namespaces. To fix the formatting, you can run Control KT. Okay. So this is important question like control. Okay. This is we can import because our table will be here inside the model first CRUD operation dot models. So here we can import this namespace rather than writing a duplicate again and again. We can import either namespace here and we can use a multiple time. For example, if we write like that way, that also will be working. But that time code is not looking good, and if in the update method we also want to use same user model, so every time we need to like that way, so it's not a clean way to write the code. So we can handle with the help of using keyword. So this is also important question, I already write here. I can highlight this, so you also cover this question. It's a second class. In firstly, I will try to cover in a backend, and when all things will be covered, then we can do back like API in the backend. In the front end, we can use to Angular. But firstly, we will cover .NET all the topics. So we can write context dot users dot add users. Next time we can do a save changes because they are in memory here added. To save in the database, in the actual database here, we need to run the command that is also provided via db context, sorry, anti framework core. So you need to write context dot save changes in and return okay, and here we can return that user will be created. So we can return that user. So here we can completed the add method. Next we can do like add any update any record. For updating we are using http method put. So here we can write http put, and here we can give the name. So firstly we can find that id. We can update, check that existing record with the help of id, and then we can update. So again I can write here id update. So this is also important. What is the difference between a put and patch? These all the method are using to update any record. In .NET interview, this is the important question. So in the put, you need to update all the model. You need to define all the model. In the patch, if you want to a single thing, you can easily update. For example, you only want to update name. So with the help of this, you don't need to pass all the model. So, but this is the mainly we are using put, but you have an idea why we use. What is the difference between them? So both are using for the update record. So here we pass the ID. So firstly, we will check here if ID is equal to 0, then return a bad request. Return like in the front end Swagger UI, you do not pass any ID. That time it will give a bad request. Second time, we will find that record with the help of ID variable existing user is equal to with the help of find. In the next, we will check if that record not found in the database, that time same return not found. Return not found. And next thing is we can update that record. Example up existing user. So we have how much fields we have. We have a one, two. ID is auto generator, so don't need to because ID will be same and primary key, name, email, and password. So we can write here existing user dot name is equal to user dot name, existing user dot email, and next one is password. After that, we can same do in this to update in the database. We can use save changes thing, and then we can return existing user. We are return this user that newly updated. So this is our update method. Next will be for the delete, and its a URL will be like that way. Put API backslash student, sorry, user. Our controller name is a user. Next one is any, for example, you are updating second ID. So second, and then you can write update. So yeah. Next one is delete. So for deleting, we are using HTTP delete this method and delete, and its URL will be like that way. API backslash users. User will be controller name and then delete. And for example, we are also deleting by ID. So we can write pass here also ID. And here also we need to change. Here we will update like that way. ID and backslash public reaction result in the lead. Firstly, we will find that record with the help of ID, variable user or existing user, find by ID. Don't need to write like that way, you can simply write like that way. And if user null, then return not found, otherwise remove that user and save changes sync. If existing user is equal to null, then we will return not found. Status code will be a 404, and after that we can remove that record, remove, and then save changes async. Sorry, save changes, because we are here, we are not using async and await. So when we are using a async and await, that time we are writing here find async, not a simple find. We are using this find async, and here also we are using save changes sync, this one. And then in the last we will return okay. We can give the simple message, the record will be deleted successfully, or a user will. This is the simple message, you can give any message. So all the CRUD operation basic step we already completed here. And here we are important question, another question is like assess specifier we are using. So for now we are here, we are only use public and private. So you can see here these are the assess specifier. So this is also important question. What is the access specifier? So here public will be used inside the class and outside the class. We are only use here two, public and private. Private means you can use that inside the class only, not outside the class. Public and private. So these are the specifier, and it's a also important question in .NET interview. So I can also add here 10th question. These are the basic question and mostly asked in .NET interview question. What is the why? Okay. So we can do all the CRUD operation here, and here we are following .NET 8 version. It automatically like pre will provide a Swagger UI, but if you are using a latest version .NET 10 or .NET 9, that time you need to install this Swagger. So you will try to use this version, because this version is much stable, and you already provide this Swagger UI. You don't need to install that package for you, like you are just for learning. So you can use this version .NET 8. So I can run this. Okay. So here, so firstly we will check in the database how much records we are making for the first time. So this is our database name. I can check here. DV first accreditation. This one our database. We already added the migration folder here. So you can see here there is a migration folder and our migration will be created here. So here we can check the table for the user. So here nothing will be added here. So we can add a new record here. I can add the breakpoint so you have a better understanding how it will be add a new record in the database. I added here breakpoint, and here we are not following any dependency injection or a solid principle. In the next class we will follow that. So for now here you can see here in the here it's showing all our model a user table. In the user table we have a four field id, name, email and password, mail, and here we can give the okay. So here I can give nl@com and our password will be, for example, 123 we can save here. And when I can hit here, you can see here it will be the breakpoint, and here we can get all the record. ID is Anil, and we don't need to send the ID is auto generated. Email will be this, name will be this, and then you can go from there. That record will be added in memory but not showing here. So it will be a in memory. When we can go through a save changes sync, then it will be saved in the database. So now this record will be updated here because we are running this command context.save changes. So it automatically make a row SQL query to convert here in the C sharp row, like C sharp objects to a row SQL query automatically, like make a query to add a new record in the database. For example, insert a new record you can say. So you can say here new record will be added and click on the continue. So here our first record will be added, and I can add one more for the understanding get all. So around, okay. So here again we are getting this record, and we can check. So now this record will be saved here. We can execute. So you can see here this record will be added here. Okay, next we can check get by ID. So in the get all method, we have a two records. So we can check this get all method because here we are uh, getting the list of the user. So in the user table, we have only two records. So we can get these two records. So I can run this command, execute and go down. So you can see here we can get these both two table. First one is Anil, second one is Ram, and it will return. And here we can getting this status code 202. Okay, here again we are getting 20 record. And when we can getting a not found, for example here we can't pass any ID, and I also added here breakpoint. So here we can add it if user will be null, that time return not found. So for now we are adding here 5 ID because we have only two record, so it will give a error not found. So you can see here user will be null and it will return this error, and status code will be a 404. You can see here it will give a response status is a 404 and title not found. And we can find add here accurate ID. So we are passing here ID1. We are fetching that record with the help of ID, and we can get that record, and that record not equal to null, and it will be returned 202. Okay. Next one is we can check for delete. For example, if we want to delete record 1, so we are passing here ID. For example, we are deleting here record 1. So same we can get it from here. Inside the parameter we can get the ID. Save changes sync. That record will be not deleted. When we can save changes sync, this will be run. Then that record will be deleted from here. So this record will be deleted from here. You can see second record will be deleted from the database. And then continue. So user will be deleted successfully because here we can give a same error message and success message, and we can get the status code. So these are the important question and basic .NET question. And if you are working in any higher level project or lower level project, same things will be happen. So you have to idea mainly what are the status code and what are the return type. We will as you can pass in from here. For example, this name is this name will be a Ram, so you can change Anil at channel.com, and password will be 123, and we can execute this. So we are not added the breakpoint, so it will updated that record in the database. So you can see here this record will be updated here. So we can completed our first CRUD operation, basic step that we can follow to make a new CRUD operation. So first step is you can make a project in .NET Core, and after that you can install these three packages: anti-framework core and anti-framework core.sql server. Here you can use which SQL database you are using. Here you can change if you can choose another database, PostgreSQL and any other tools for the when we can run the migration, add migration update database that will be provided by this package. So this is our first step to after creating the .NET application, we need to install this package. After that we can add the connection string, then we can make a file application db context, and inside the public db set we can add our table. For example, you can see here we can added all the table that we can created inside the, this is the actual name that will be created in our database. You can see here our table name will be a user, products user. So this is the former way that your class name will be user. So your table in the database table name will be user, because in the users it means all the record will be saved this table. So like that way we can write, it's a formal way. And after that we can register this connection string or application db context in our program.cs file. So what is a so it's a very important question, what is a program.cs file? This is the entry file or the first file that will be run when we can run this application. So this is the main file of our .NET application. Here we can register our dependency injection, our middlewares, and all the for example JWT implementation we need to register here. So this is the next step we can follow. And so like that way, after we can run this command update database, that record will be updated in the database. Okay. Okay, so we can complete it first project. Next project, in the next project we can try follow same step, but we can do some advanced things that time. We can follow solid principle and dependency injection. So we can make a new one. Mainly we are using a repository pattern here with the help of, for example, what is the disadvantage of this project? Because here we can write all the business logic. We are getting anything from the database, we are adding any data from the database, all the logic we can directly write in our controller. So here we can't follow a dependency injection. Dependency injection means rather than writing all the code in same controller, we can call from the outside. For example, here we can injected our application DB context directly in our user controller. But when we can implement dependency injection, we can add here our interface rather than writing all the code directly in our controller. Because in our user table have our domain model, so we can't show our business logic directly in the controller. So we can make a new project here. So same step we need to follow here. But operation with a repo thing I have here, and I will have here. So this is the pre-build that is provided by .NET application. Our program.cs file is a pre-build. Our application DB contact app setting.json file is a pre-build. And our first step will be we need to install same three packages. Go to here. Mm. So, anyone have any question? You can write here. I will try to answer that question. Potentially, you have any question? Okay. Okay, we have created a new project here. So we need to install same package. First one is the entry framework core. This one. So this is mainly average between our application and database. It will track all the changes. So we are using here 9.0. So try to use same version for the another package we can install. So for now we are using this 9.0.10 and click on the install. And next one is which database we are using. For now, we are using SQL Server. So you can search here SQL Microsoft.NT Framework Code.SQL Server, and here we can choose same version and click on the install. Next one is our tools. Tools is used to add the migrations. So you can see here when I can hover here, so it will give the all the commands like add migration, vendor migration, but mainly we are using add migration, update migration, and remove migration. So I can also install this package, and here I can also use the same version and click on the install button and click on the apply. I accept. So you can see here I can added all the three packages here, and this is a pre-built provider Swagger UI in the .NET 8 version, but this is not provided in the new version like 9 and 10. So you can try to install, choose this version. And our second step is we need to add the connection string. So this is also important question why we use the app setting.json file in a .NET interview. So here we can write our all the configuration related work we can add here. Any like specific path or configuration related. For example, you are implement JWT key. So all the JWT related keys we can add it here. All the confidential things we can add here. So here we can write all the app setting file, .json file is used to write all the configurations. For example, if you are using a Twilio or SendGrid, so that time that configuration also you can add it here. But for now, we are adding here connection string our. So we can write here any name you can give here. For example, we are giving DV. So same name when we can register in the database, we need to give this connection string with the help of, if we want this connection string in the program.cs file, we can get with the help of builder.configuration.get connection string. Builder builder configuration dot get connection string, and here we can added our this keyword dv, and we can get all the configuration that we can write inside here. So first one is the server name, where we can get from here. For example, I can open Ray again. So this is our server name. Every system have a different server name. For now, my system server, SQL Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Here, server name will be localhost. So in your system will be different. So you can copy that, not just copy simple localhost. So I can go here. I can add here localhost. Then you can give the database name, what database you can making. So for now we are making a CRUD operation with repo. So we can exact same name we can give here, CRUD operation with repo. And for the like make a secure connection between our SQL server or that or our application, we can write here integrated security is equal to true. Integrated is equal to true. And next one is a trust server certificate. Trust server certificate is equal to true. So these two four things you need to add here. First one is your server name, database, but database you are Creating integrated security and trust server certificate is making for the trust connection between your application and database. So this is our second step. Third step is we need to make our application DB context. For now, again we can make a table here. This is just for understanding. We can make any table. For example, we can make a table product, and here we can simply take a two or three field: public int ID, string name, description. Okay. Okay. So we are created this table. We we are added this in the this folder models, not directly here. Move here. Next step is we can make a application DB context file. Check 1 minute. Hello, anyone have any question? Hello. So our next step is we need to add here our application DB context. So click on add class. Here we can inherit our DB context that we can get from the package that we can already install here, DB context anti-framework core. Its main class will be a DB context. So this is also important question why we use a DB context file. After that, we can make a constructor where it will track all the changes. For example, you are adding new record, update, or getting any record. So it will track all the changes. So you can write here public application DB context and DB context options. And this one. And inside the DB set, you can add your tables. For example, we are using here public DB set, and here we can pass, for example, our table name will be a product that we can create it, and this is the exact name will be created in the database. And our next step is we need to add this in our program.cs file here. Register the DB context file here. So you need to write here builder.services dot add db context. So it will automatically give the option. Here you can pass your application DB context that we can make here. So this is the same step you can follow in every project. Next one is you can define here which database you are using here. Options, lambda expression, options dot use SQL server. So here we are using SQL server, and then we can pass here our connection string inside this. So what is how we can get the connection string? Builder dot configuration dot get connection string. Builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and here we can pass our connection string, and here we can close this. So our connection string will be named here this one dv. So I can copy here and add here. So all the basic step we can already completed, that I can write here. So all the step I will complete it. Next step is add migration and update database. So go to tools, go to here and write add migration. For example, we are adding product table. So add product table. So here you can give a proper name so anyone can easily understand for which table you can add the migration, and enter. Next one is update database. So you can see here this table will be created, and ID is a primary key and auto generated, identity and auto generated, and name and description will be string. So this is the query will be created here. To showing that record in the database, we need to run the command update database. Okay. Okay, this record will be added in the database, this table. So what is our database name? Will be this db CRUD operation with repo. We can check here. Okay, db CRUD operation with repos. Okay, so this is our database will be created here, and our table will be products, and this is another table. You have to idea why we use the ef migration history. So here all the migration will be added here. For example, first migration will be add product table. So this migration will be added here, and this is our table. So this table will be created. So this is done for today class. Next we can continue tomorrow, where we can implement dependency injection and solid principle. How we can implement dependency injection and solid principle. So I hope this video will be helpful for you. So please like, share and comment, and so here. So it's really motivates me to make the next video. And every day you can try to join same time 7 to 8. Okay, bye bye.